So post-surgery update, it's day 7. A bit of a whirlwind. I was meant to have middle fossa craniotomy, and long story short, they cancelled it about 5 or 6 hours after it was meant to happen. So that was just a really brutal day. They decided, because the petrosal sinus vein was running through the dehiscence, that they would try this experimental surgery where they put a shunt or a stent inside the petrosal sinus vein in the hopes that that would actually block the dehiscence. That was not explained very well to me at the time. The analogy I give of the explanation they gave me at the time was, there's a hole in the roof, the rain's coming in, the possums are coming in, they're running around, it's really noisy in here. Oh, we've just found that there's a branch on the roof, and we're worried that you're hearing those leaves rustling, so we're going to take that branch off. That was sort of the analogy they gave me. I'm like, but you're not fixing the hole. Like, the pulsatile tinnitus isn't what's bothering me. It's everything from the hole, the autophony, everything else. Anyway, long story short, had a meeting with them a week later, and it was explained to me in a bit more detail how they proposed that would work. Sorry, I popped the baby down. And that by putting basically like a coil or like a metal tube inside the petrosal sinus vein, that would basically expand that vein. So rather than that vein moving around and pulsating and doing everything that is doing in there, it basically will harden that area and therefore form a block. And the benefits of that is no open head surgery, so no craniotomy required, so no losing 3 months of my life to no driving, etc., etc. Honestly, I wasn't convinced. I was still quite angry, but I was desperate, and look, the idea of doing something fairly minimally invasive to get a result, let's give it a go. So anyway, so I had that done 7 days ago today, and my autophony is pretty good. So driving my daughter in the car the other day, we are singing along to Rose Arpita in the car, and I could sing at the top of my lungs, which was amazing. Today I'm getting a bit of reverb when I speak loud, but it's not as robotic as it was. It's just kind of, it's more like that head cold loud and a little bit of vibration, but it's not like it was. My ear's still quite blocked. It's just that sort of head coldy feeling, but 18 months of that, it really starts to wear you down. So I really hope that resolves soon. What are some of my other symptoms? A bit of dizziness today, but compared to what I had, heaps better. Straight after surgery, that very first day, the pulsatile tinnitus that hadn't been bothering me at all suddenly became a huge issue, because I couldn't even bend down to touch my feet without this whoosh, 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 like my head was going to explode. So that was kind of a new symptom. And another new symptom straight after surgery was I'd lay down, and it's like I would just drop a foot and then be normal again, and like I was just laying there and then I'd drop a foot. It was really strange, but that seems to have resolved now as well. So basically the surgery, they go through the femoral artery in your groin, up through your heart and into the bit in your head. So obviously a lot of bruising, soreness, but certainly no worse than a C-section down there. And obviously up and about. I walked down to the coffee shop the next day because I wanted to test out the noise factor and just see how I would go in a noisy environment, and I did that without headphones. That was really good. So it's a bit of a wait and see now with the other symptoms, how they go, but I'm obviously in a lot better spirits. It has been hard because the entire family's come down with influenza A, so I've dodged it so far, thanks probably to the steroids I was taking so that I wouldn't get sick for surgery, and we delayed our vaccination. Well, I delayed my vaccination on advice from the hospital because they didn't want me to have any effects by having it like right before surgery, but then my surgery was postponed, so I could have had it. Anyway, so instead of the family looking after me, I'm here looking after the family, which I physically can, but just mentally after this last 18 months of hell, I just needed to crawl into bed for a week and just be taken care of, and that's obviously not happening. But spending lots of time in bed cuddling the kids while they sleep, so that helps. So what else can I update you? 7 days after surgery, obviously I can drive, so there's no restrictions on driving. I still have quite a headache, so I get a lot of headaches there. And there's a lot of argument in the SSCD community as to ear pain and whether that's caused from the condition or something secondary. There's a lot of arguments out there. Excuse the background noise. Baby's got a thing of toothpaste. So yeah, that ear pain. Look, it's not what it was. It's definitely, it's there, but it's not as intense as it was. It's manageable with Panadol. At the moment, the headaches, they come and go. Sometimes they're not manageable. Sometimes they are. But overall, so far so good. And if this thing works, I'm going to make it my goal to raise awareness in the SSCD community, particularly in the medical industry, that I feel really let me down for that first year. I want to really raise awareness that there is another surgical option that's minimally invasive. They don't have to cut your head open. It doesn't risk your hearing. All these other benefits of that. Going to make it my mission to make sure this is known. And interesting side note, chatting with ChatGPT, which I'm sure has become a lot of our friends when we just can't talk out loud and it's like I need to Google something but I don't have the headspace. Let ChatGPT Google it for me. I threw in my initial symptoms of earfulness. My voice sounds like a broken speaker in my head and I'm dizzy. And ChatGPT came straight out with this condition. I'm like, oh my God, why don't all these medical professionals just bloody chuck out symptoms into these chatbots just to get a lead? Because I probably could have been diagnosed a year earlier rather than just dismissed and gaslit. Anyway, so yeah, just starting to try to put everything together so that I can go out there and advocate for you guys as well. That are suffering this horrible, horrible condition, and hope that, that I'm on the mend. But yeah, today, pretty good, just a bit dizzy, obviously feel quite blocked, but yeah, other than that, like, kind of clearer, and I can talk, and all this noise around me is a lot less painful. So yeah, that is, like I said, day 7 post-surgery.